finished a drink at the third bar option of a massive hotel in the heart of the capital. Chance to catch up with an old colleague and one of our contractors. Topic always leads to the obvious incompetence of the ones that are in the positions of power. What is this aversion to responsibility? Is it a systemic issue? The sickness of the Western world? You either decide or you're incentivized to hide. Two paths. One requires courage, the other requires systems. Those in power, they have learned the second path pays better. Decide and you can be wrong. You can fail. You can be blamed. Hide and the system absorbs the failure. The committee made the choice. The consensus was reached. No single person accountable. The incentive structure rewards hiding, punishes deciding. So the people who rise to positions of power are precisely the ones who mastered the art of appearing to lead while actually just hiding behind process. My typical approach in these conversations is to be brutally honest. A mix of authenticity with humor, underlined with a goal-oriented mindset that justifies my bluntness. It works on a personal level. At a bar, with colleagues, with contractors, people who operate in reality, not in the corporate theater of the layers above us. We can speak plainly, name the incompetence, laugh at the absurdity. But what about beyond the third bar? Beyond the after-work drinks where honesty is lubricated by alcohol and distance from the office? Would positivity work better? How can I wrap reality into a positive approach and mindset without pointing to pure perceived reality? It would be the famous can-do mentality. The American curse. The belief that attitude matters more than reality. That framing determines the outcome. That if you just approach incompetence with enough enthusiasm, it somehow stops being incompetence. But how do you maintain that without lying? You can't. Brutal honesty, it's accurate. It sees what's there, the incompetence is real. The aversion to responsibility is documented. The systemic rot is measurable. To wrap it in positivity would be what? Pretend the incompetence is actually just a different leadership style? That the hiding is collaborative decision-making? That the aversion to responsibility is inclusive management? Is it too late, or can I switch my approach carefully? The question beneath the question. Has my brutal honesty cost me? Of course it has. Would the positive approach have got me further? Surely. Where would I have been by now if I had learned to hide my perception behind enthusiasm? If I'd mastered the art of pointing out problems while somehow making it feel like I was being positive about them? Oversharing opens one up to multiple angles of attack. This is what honesty provides: ammunition. Every authentic thing you say, every real observation you share, every time you point out reality, it gives others angles, ways to attack, vulnerabilities to exploit. The ones who hide don't have that problem. They never say anything real enough to be attacked for. Their words are protected by layers of corporate speak, positive framing, consensus language, toxic positivity. But results protect from the consequences and do reward. This is the armor, the only armor that works. You can be brutally honest if you deliver results. You can point out reality if you're the one producing. The results justify the bluntness. The outcomes excuse the authenticity. Without results, brutal honesty is just difficult. Authenticity becomes a liability, and yourself being perceived as a cynic. Where would I be by now? How much energy could I have saved or could I have gained? Is there a difference? Defensive versus offensive. Protection versus advancement. If I'd been more positive, more can-do, more willing to wrap reality in optimistic language, would I have gained opportunities that my honesty cost me? Surely. But are those actually worth striving for? Different questions, different outcomes. Offensive implies I've lost something through honesty. that there have been costs, attacks that landed, opportunities that closed, positions I didn't get because I saw clearly when everyone else was agreeing to ignore what's real. Defensive implies there was a path I didn't take, a version of reality where I've learned the positive framing, the can-do language, the art of seeing incompetence and describing it as an opportunity for growth. Is there a difference? The third bar in a massive hotel in the heart of the capital. Conversation with colleagues who pretend to understand and see the same incompetence, who share their frustrations with the ones in position of power, the ones who've learned to hide instead of decide. Here in this space, brutal honesty works. The mix of authenticity with humor, the goal-oriented mindset that justify the bluntness. Tomorrow, back in the system, back with the ones who've mastered hiding, will honesty still work? Or is that the cost I keep paying? Is it too late to switch? Can I learn to wrap reality in positivity without lying? Can I maintain the can-do mentality while still seeing what's actually there? Or is the choice already made, the pattern already set, the brutal honesty already baked into who I am? Results protect, results reward. Then that's the answer. Not switching to false positivity. Not learning to hide. Not wrapping reality in optimistic language that obscures what's real. Just results. Enough results that the honesty is justified. Enough outcomes that the bluntness is excused. Enough success that seeing clearly becomes valuable instead of problematic. The third bar, the last drink, an honest conversation. Tomorrow, back in the systems where they hide. But I keep seeing clearly and delivering the results that protect me from the consequences, while the rest just nods and smiles.